Okay, in my International Cuisine Night challenge, I got Djibouti as the country, and the national dish of Djibouti is Skoudehkaris. Skoudehkaris is what I'm making tonight, which is a lamb and rice stew. So what I'm going to do, and here's the ingredients: black pepper, cardamom, cloves, cinnamon, allspice. I got here cayenne pepper and cumin and paprika. Those are the spices I'm going to use. We're going to use onions, tomatoes, garlic, and a chili pepper. We got the lamb here, which we're going to cube up. In this mortar and pestle is where we're going to take these herbs after I slightly roast them dry in a pan. We're going to put them in here and we're going to mortar and pestle them. Alright, this rice here is going to be washed, and that's 1.5 cups of rice I'm using for this. You can use more or less, whatever, depending how much you're making for how many people you're making for. Okay, now that got it down to right here. This is going to be cubed, if you'd like to know. What they do, a lot of people, is they parboil these tomatoes and peel the skins. I want the skins in mine, and I want the seeds in mine, so I'm keeping those, and I'm going to dice them myself. And I'll show you how this goes as we're going along here. Alright? So, I didn't see many recipes on YouTube for Skoudehkaris, but I did. These are being roasted right now. I did see a lot of written recipes on the net, and I'm taking the mean from those recipes, but who knows how many of those recipes are actually written by Djibouti citizens or people that have that nationality. So we're just roasting these up. I don't smell anything. Once I start smelling something, then I'm going to dump those into the mortar and pestle and chop and grind these up, these herbs. And that's how you, you're always better using the herbs from scratch if you can. If you got them, learn to do it, because your meals are going to taste a lot better. Definitely. Start with a couple of them, like, you know, I guess most people do have those peppers. I'm starting to smell something. You can roast these babies up, let them get hot. Smells good. And then we're going to crunch that stuff up. And then I'll show you after, as I go along, what I'm going to be doing. So, and we just take your herbs, take your roasted herbs, dump them in your mortar and pestle, and you go away at it. So I'm just going to start crunching these up, and that's what you do until you got a fine powder out of this. Alright? Good. Okay, the diced onion, 1 chili, diced garlic. I'm going to put olive oil in here. Some olive oil. I don't know how many tablespoons. You do what you like. Everything can be tweaked to your own taste, as long as you stay within the parameters of the traditional style of cooking. Alright? These are going to get a little sauteed, right? Then we're going to throw in and brown this cubed lamb. After that, we're going to dump in, actually, I'm going to dump in the spices before I cube I'm going to dump these cubed lamb in there. Spices can go in anytime. And then we're going to dump in the tomatoes. We're going to let that stew away for 2 hours to soften up the lamb and to get these flavors into the mix. Then we're going to throw in this rice, which I have cleaned and washed 3 times. And we're going to use some water. And then we're going to go 20 minutes with that. Afterwards, what we'll do is we'll take off the lid and let it dry out a little bit for a couple. I don't know how many minutes it's going to take to dry it out. Instead of you don't want this soupy. You don't even want it like a stew. You want it rice with lamb. You'll see when we get done the consistency. But then again, you tweak it to your own consistency. As long as it's not soup, then you're staying within the style of the meal. The meal is the rice and the lamb, spicy. This is a hearty, spicy meal. All right? Mideastern meals are spicy. Okay? And here we go. Boom. Aha. All right? I'll keep you in touch. Okay, you see, these onions are starting to get soft. When they start to get soft, I'm going to transfer them over to the side a bit, because now over here we're going to brown. Actually, before I transfer them, we're throwing in the spices. All right? And we'll mix the spices in with the onions. So, a little bit flew over the cuckoo's nest over there. Alright, so, and to those ground herbs, I added the powdered herbs, the ground herbs, paprika, cayenne pepper, and what was that other one that was there? The cumin, the ground cumin. You see, but why I did this now, we're mixing this in, is because on the bottom of the pot, you got the flavor of those ground condiments, herbs, and spices. So, on the spices on the bottom. Now move this over, and down here, on this pan, we have the flavor. And on top, what we're going to do now, we're going to dump the lamb. And this lamb, we're going to brown and sear a little bit before we add water. And then once we add the water, we're going to let it all go for, I think I'll let it go an hour. See, I even kept the bones in here. Bones have flavor. See the way that knife goes into that bone, that marrow? That has flavor. So you want that flavor in your meal. I even kept the cartilage in here. You can always grab that out later, or if you want to keep it in, you spit it out when you're eating your meal. It depends on what your style of eating is. Okay? So I'll move this, make sure this pan is over the heat now. I'll keep in touch. Okay, as you can see, this meat has been browned for the most part. And it's going to sear the flavor in the meat, although it will also keep it nice and moist. Now I'm going to add the onions in with this mix, bring the heat up, because we're going to be adding the water, and I want that water to get up to a simmer fast, because once it comes up to a simmer, I'll lower the heat, and when I lower the heat, put the cover on, set the timer for 1 hour. So, this looks good, smelling good. I think it's coming along great so far. So, what we want to do with the water, we want to make sure, well, as long as there's water in there, you're doing good. If you can cover it up in a different kind of pot, you can cover it up. But maybe in here, I can cover it up. It's no big deal. Because later on, we're adding the rice, just compensate. Alright? Now, put the water in. You see how everything's covered? Basically covered with the water? That's what we want. And we want this to simmer away. Keep your eye on it. Make sure that the water is covering this as you go along. It already seems like it wants to come up to a simmer already, but not yet. So that's because we're using a cast iron pot. That thing's got heat and it's retaining the heat. So that's pretty good enough. And yeah. Put this on for about a minute or so, lower the heat, then I'll lower the heat. Okay, catch. Oh yeah, how could I forget? One of the main ingredients, the stewed tomatoes. Throw them babies in there. Let's mix these stewed tomatoes up with the mix. And this is all gonna go. Hey, did anybody that was watching this say, what happened to the tomatoes? Where's the tomatoes? I thought tomatoes were supposed to go in there. Okay, there you go. Tomatoes. And let them stew in there. Yeah. Now, where were we? Bring this up to a simmer, let it go an hour. Okay. Catch you in an hour. Okay, it's been an hour. So I could turn the timer off. And that's what we got. Simmering away in there. Now, I'm going to add some rice. Time to add the rice. That's 1.5 cups of rice. And since I can always cook off the liquid later if there's too much liquid, I'm tempted to add 3 cups of water. Which I'm gonna do. What? 1, 2, 3. And now mix the rice in and cover it up for 20 minutes. Alright, mix it all together. And boy, does it smell good. Look at this. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. What a meal. No wonder it's a national dish. Oh, no wonder they made this a national dish. We got ourselves a nomad meal. The nomads. Just hope that the Saudis keep themselves out of that country. Don't start bombing this country. We don't need anybody bombing this country. We've got to do there. Okay, now stick on the cover, and I'll see you in 20 minutes. Okay, that's been 20 minutes. The rice has been in here for 20 minutes. Yeah. So, here's what we got. Skoudehkaris from Djibouti. This doesn't need anything more. Doesn't perfect consistency. And this satisfies my 9th International Cuisine Night challenge. And that's about it. So, that's what we got. Beautiful, huh?